Hi, everyone. I see now that a few of you have joined. So, welcome. Yeah, nice meeting you. And yeah, we're so excited to talk about Notion soon. We'll just wait a few more minutes just to wait for everyone to come in. Okay, hi, everyone, and welcome to Digital Note Taking Systems in Notion. We're so glad to have you here today. We're trying something slightly different with a Zoom format. So if you're joining on YouTube, be sure to use the Zoom link and join us here because there's a bit of a lag in YouTube. And so we just wanted more of like a live chat experience today. So hi, Michael, and hi, Akash. So glad to have you here today. First of all, just feel free to chat and let us know where you're from, how long you've been using Notion, and feel free to introduce yourself as we get this introduction going. Hi, Dr. Gallegos from Los Angeles. Very cool that you've been using it for 2 months. Hope you've been enjoying Notion. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, today's event itinerary is that we're going to be having a introduction, and then we're going to be talking about why Notion can be the perfect note-taking tool, top tips for creating a digital note-taking system, and then we will be also building together a very simple notebook in Notion. And then after that, we'll have a Q&A in case there are some questions that didn't get answered during the session. And then finally, we'll show you how to download all of our freebies. So let's get to the introduction. So first of all, who we are. So we're the Organized Notebook, and we specialize in designing Notion templates that can help you optimize workflow, organize data, and increase productivity. So be sure to check out our website and template store. We have a lot of freebies, free resources for beginners to get started with Notion. And yeah, my name is Sarah, and Anne is also part of the Organized Notebook, and she will be managing the chat today. So welcome, everyone. So a few notes about the event. Feel free to add your comments and questions into the chat. And please keep the conversation respectful and about the event. Just a friendly reminder that this chat is for discussing about this event and Notion related topics. Messages not related to these will be moderated and removed if needed. And if you're joining on YouTube, as we just mentioned, there is a bit of a lag. So we will be answering your questions at the end of the session. But if you're here on Zoom, we'll try our best to answer while we go today. So great. Let's go to the next section. So first of all, why Notion can be a perfect note-taking tool. So feel free to type into the chat, have you used Notion to take notes and how was your experience? So we see here that many of you have been using it for sort of life planning and so on. So have you all tried using it for note-taking? Thank you, Sarina, for commenting. So this event is great today, as we'll be going all over how to use Notion for note-taking. Great. So the first thing that's great about Notion for taking notes is, of course, that it's free to use. So if it's for personal use, the free plan is more than enough for your note-taking activities. You basically have unlimited blocks and pages for you to take notes. So in some ways, Notion is one of the most generous tools that is very much free. So if you're just using it for personal use, it's a really good note-taking tool. And it also has a lot of powerful note-taking features. So it's really easy to navigate your notes with headings and table of contents. You can highlight your text with colors and make comments to emphasize your key points. AI blocks can also automatically summarize contents for your notes if you have Notion AI. So here are the top tips for creating a digital note-taking system. So it's really important to first of all have a centralized notebook database. So whenever we think of note-taking in Notion, since it's sort of a unstructured environment, so you kind of create the structure as you go to kind of mold to your own needs. But we think that having a little bit of structure can also be really helpful. And for us, we generally think of note-taking in Notion to have mainly two databases. So the first database you'll want is a notebook database so that you can really organize all of your notes based on different notebooks, similar to how you would do it if you had physical notebooks. You would have one notebook for, let's say, journaling and one notebook for your meetings and so on. So splitting everything by notebooks can really be helpful for you. And you can create unlimited notebooks. So that's the other great thing about Notion is that there's no real limits to how many notes you can put in it. And it's also really quick to structure and sort the notebooks by topics and tags. So it can really grow with you as you sort of build on what kind of note-taking strategy works the best for you. So you can also leverage a relation between notebook and notes. So by having your notebooks database and notes database, it's going to really allow you to structure your notes better and understand the way that your notes connect to your notebooks. And make sure to use pre-designed note templates. So pre-design also means that you can create your own designs as well and keep those as your own templates. And we'll be also showing you how to do that. So you don't have to continuously copy note templates over and over again, but you can just click a button and sort of automate those note templates for you. So if you always have a set meeting notes, you can also structure that into your digital notebook. And the best note-taking layouts. So before we get into building our digital notebook and note-taking system today, we wanted you all to vote which note layout you would like to see most created in today's session. So we have 10 options. So we probably will do 1 to 2. So feel free to vote on that. And Anne has just put into the chat the 10 best note-taking templates. If you want to read more about what each one is, of course, there's the Cornell notes someone mentioned in the chat. There's outline notes, sentence, chart, SQ3R, boxing, 5W1H, meeting, SWOT, and pros and cons notes. And if some of these are unfamiliar, feel free to also ask in the chat. Yeah. So Jonica says, I'm still learning which note taking is best with my learning style. I've been doing Cornell, but it's not working well for me. Yeah, so yeah, if one note taking method isn't working the best for you, feel free to try other ones out. And we hope that today's session can also help you to sort of explore new note taking methods. We highly recommend this blog article that we have for 10 different kinds of note templates that you can try out. And of course, everyone's sort of way of thinking is different. So there's definitely a note taking sort of system that works best for each of you. Great. So if you have any preference you'd like to see, feel free to type into the chat. Maybe the Cornell note might be the best since everyone knows it the best. Number 7. 5W1H. Great. So keep voting and Anne will tally up the votes and we will try to show you during the building section. Okay, so let's get into the building session. And yeah, feel free to ask us any questions during the session if anything is confusing. And we will also be recording this. So this is also going live on YouTube. So after the event is over, you can also rewatch it and go over any spots that might have been confusing. So the basic thing we're going to be building today is a very simple digital notebook. And the digital notebook basically consists of two databases as we explained, so notes and notebooks. And inside each notebook, you can see your notes relating to that notebook. So if we open up notebook 1, you can see a very simple description here of your notebook, as well as what notes belong to that notebook. So you can really just think of it in a similar system as when you have a physical notebook. So you have a notebook and you have your notes inside of it. And you can also tag your notes. So not every note is going to have the same tag even within a notebook. Let's say that the notebook topic is about a certain project. You might have meetings about it, ideas about it. All these things can be also tagged here. And you can add the date. And of course, you can see the notebook. We'll also show you how to add a button to automate adding a new note so that it's easy to do that as well. And yeah, that's basically the notebook and note system. Has any of you tried building a digital notebook in Notion? Or have you all used some kind of template for it? Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and yeah, it seems like many of you haven't yet. So this is perfect then. So yeah, feel free to follow along and yeah, by the end of it, you should have a very simple digital notebook that you can use as a base to kind of grow with your own note-taking style. Okay, great. So let's go to an empty Notion page and we're going to start building the digital notebook from scratch. So the first thing we like to do whenever we have a empty Notion page is just to go to the top right-hand corner, 3 dots, and we're going to turn on small text full width. So the small text full width really allows you to sort of have way more space in the page and have more to work with. So we like to always do small text full width. The next thing you want to do is to go ahead and go to change cover, and you might want to change the cover photo just to personalize it and really make it your own. We highly recommend using this thing called Unsplash because you can basically search for any image and there's so many pictures you can choose from. After you go and change the cover photo, you can go ahead and choose an icon here. And we tend to go for the Notion icons that we really like because they're so streamlined and look very minimal. So we'll just go ahead and choose something like this for our notes template. And now let's actually rename this into digital notebook. Of course, this can be anything you want with the title. So now what we're going to be doing is that, as we mentioned, there's two databases inside this digital notebook. And you might be wondering especially if you're new to Notion, like what is even a database? So the databases in Notion are basically structures that you have to keep your information, and you can connect the two together and also show them in different layouts. So that's kind of what makes Notion unique, is that you can have a data set and you can see it in a calendar, you can see it in a table view, in a gallery, and all these different kinds of layouts of the same data set. So we're going to be building two of these, one which is going to be all of your notebooks and one which is going to be all of your notes. And this gets easier to understand the more you use Notion. So yeah, don't be intimidated if the word database is a bit scary. So the first thing we're going to do is actually to store our two databases inside of a callout box. And to do that, we're going to type /callout like this. And we're going to type here databases, and then we will bold it. And then underneath here, we're going to build the two databases. So basically in Notion, it's kind of easy to delete your databases because if they're just part of the page, you might just accidentally delete them. So that's why we like to store databases inside of these callout boxes. So we're going to go ahead and type /page first. And that's going to take us to a new empty page. And this one is going to be where we store our notes. So we're going to type notes. And then we can choose what kind of database layout we want. So if we go now to table, it's going to turn this into a table view database. And for notes, table view is quite nice because it's just easy to see. So let's just fill these in so that we can easily see them. So this is note 1, note 2, and note 3. And here you can add tags. So let's say that something is an outline. It could be an idea, and it could be something like meeting. So yeah, this is basically anything you want to add here for your tags. And the other thing that's nice to have is basically the date. So if we go and click plus here, we can add something called properties. And properties are basically what adds more information to each of your database entries. So in this case, we want to add the date information to this database entry. And now we have the date. So let's say that we just put some random dates here so that we can see all the information. And the way we want to order the notes is that we want the newest added to the top, because otherwise you'll only see the old ones at the top. So let's go ahead and also add that sorting to it. So we're going to go to sort, and we're going to sort the date by descending, and then save for everyone. So now what that does is every time you add a new note, it's going to go to the top of your table view database. And each of these notes can open up, and basically you can write inside of it. So you can think of each of these as your individual pages, and you can write your notes in here like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to choose an icon for our notes database. And let's say something like this one. And we're going to go back to our digital notebook by following the breadcrumbs. And we're back here. Jonica says, the AI portion, is that with the free Notion or do we pay for the AI with the paid version? Yes, so with Notion AI, you actually do have to add that as sort of an add-on to your Notion workspace. So it is a separate cost, but we find that it's actually quite useful depending on how you use it. So if you find that you, for example, use ChatGPT a lot and you go back and forth with your Notion and ChatGPT, it basically does everything you would do in ChatGPT inside of your Notion workspace. And you can also add them as database properties. So we'll also show you our AI note-taking template a little bit later, so you can kind of see what kind of features are available there. So now that we have our notes database, then we can go ahead and put that in here. And then we're going to go plus here and then slash page. And here we're going to put our notebook. Oh, yeah. If you pay for ChatGPT, do you have to pay extra in Notion or can you link the two? So yeah, unfortunately, you can't link the two, but yeah, if you're paying for ChatGPT, our recommendation would just be to stick to ChatGPT if it's working for you. But let's say that you're using the free ChatGPT and you just want to be able to streamline everything inside of Notion, you might want to consider using Notion AI. So now with the notebook, we are going to go for a gallery view database. So we're going to click gallery here. And then we are going to click plus new gallery. And let's go ahead and choose an icon for our notebooks by going to icon and then the book. So now we have our notebooks here. So let's go ahead and also title them. So notebook 1 and notebook 2 and notebook 3. So inside of our notebooks, let's go ahead and check the properties that are inside. So in this case, we don't need the created time. So we're going to go ahead and click here and delete property. The tags you could leave if you want to tag your notebook by different categories. And here's where it's really fun in Notion is that it can be as complicated or as simple as you'd like. So for this build with me, we're going to be deleting this property. And instead, let's go ahead and add something simple like a description. So we're going to go with a text property like this, and we're going to call this description. And we can remove what's inside of here. And let's go ahead and add a cover photo. So we're going to change cover, go to Unsplash, and let's just search for some notebooks. So let's say we have a notebook here. And let's go ahead and click out, go to the 3 dots here so that we can show everything that we want. So in the layout, we're going to show the card preview to be page cover. And we will keep the card size medium. And let's go ahead and turn on wrap all properties so that we're going to see the text in here. And we're going to go here and then go to properties and then make sure to show the description. So now if we write something in the description here, this notebook is for my journals, for example, and we click out, you can see the description here, the name of the notebook here. So now what we're going to do is to connect our notebooks with our notes. But first, let's go ahead and go back to our digital notebook here. And we can already start actually adding these as linked view databases. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to type /column so that we have 2 columns. And over here on the left-hand side, we're going to have our notes. So we're going to type /heading3 notes and then /divider. And we like to use this format where we do the heading 3 with the divider just because we think it looks quite neat. And underneath here, we're going to be adding the notes database, but it's going to be a linked view. So it basically just shows what's in here, and whatever you change here also gets reflected in the main database. So we're going to type /linked view of the database, and we're going to select the correct one. So make sure that the names match here. And we're going to go here. And now we basically have our notes. Oh, actually, this is the wrong one. / linked view of database. And let's actually name it something that's easy to remember. So we're going to put build with me. And we're going to name this one build with me. And we'll delete this one. So here we're going to type / linked view of database and look for the correct one. So if you're like us and you have a bunch of databases with the same name, be sure to name them something easy to remember. So we're going to choose this one, table view, and we're going to hide the database title. So now everything that was here shows up here. And on this side, we're going to have our notebook. So we're going to type / heading 3, and we're going to put my notebooks / divider, and then / linked view of the database. And we're going to go with notebook gallery view. And now this is quite big. So let's actually change this into a smaller gallery. So we're going to go to layout, and we're going to go to card size, maybe small. And one thing we can do is also hide the database title by going to the 3 dots, hide database title. So now we have our notebooks here and our notes over here. And let's go ahead and also choose cover photos for notebook 2 and 3 so that they don't look quite so empty. So we're going to go add cover, change cover, notebook. And we will choose something like this. And for this one as well, let's go ahead and change cover. So notebook, something like this one. Yeah, so now we basically have 3 notebooks. So now what we're going to do is, as you can see, notebook 1, 2, and 3 are not connected at all to our notes. So now we're going to establish a connection between our notes and our notebooks. And to do that, we're going to be using something called a relation property. So relation properties kind of act as a bridge between the 2 databases. So if we go ahead and click the plus sign here and we choose relation, we can click here. And now again, we have to choose the correct database. So we're going to relate it to, Michael says, can you go a little slower would be great. Yeah, sure. And also it's going to be recorded. So if there's anything that you got confused by, especially when it comes to the relation section, be sure to rewatch it because we also, when we first started, it was really confusing for us as well to learn Notion. Yeah, no problem. So we're going to go ahead and connect it to Notebook. And we want to toggle on Show on Notebook. So we're going to click here and click Add Relation. So basically we added a new property, which is the relation, and we chose the correct database, which is connected to the notebooks. And now we have established a connection between the notebook database and the notes database. So what that means is now if we go here, we can see notebook 1, 2, and 3 as selectable options. So let's say that we wanted to connect the first note to notebook 1. We can select notebook 1. And now note 3 belongs to notebook 1. If we go ahead and open it up, we can see that note 3 is also connected to notebook 1 here as well. And now if we actually click open the notebook, we don't need to see each note here. So we're going to go ahead and click this one and show this as minimal. So now it kind of hides it here, but you can still see how many notes belong to the notebook. So then what we're going to do is now we've basically established a connection between the notes and the notebook. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to actually build a database template. So if we open up the notebook one, right now, you can only see that the notes are here. But ideally, what would be nice is to actually put the notes belonging to notebook one directly in here as well. So to do that, we're going to go to this blue button here, and we're going to click plus new template. And this is basically a database template. So what that means is whenever you create a new entry inside of here, it's going to load the same information every time. So let's say that this one is new notebook. And we can even add an icon so that it's the same for everything. So we can put this book here. And here, let's say slash heading 3 notes slash divider. And then we can put slash linked view of database. And we can now again choose the correct database for notes that we are linking. So that's the notes build with me. And it's the table view. And we're going to also hide the database title. And now you can see notebook one here. So this we want to actually hide later, but maybe first we're going to actually just filter this. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to filter your notes by the notebook. So if we go ahead and click filter, we can go to notebook and we can select new notebook and save for everyone. So this is a little bit complicated, but it's going to make a little bit more sense once we actually start using this. So then we are going to now hide this one. Click notebook build with me, hide in view, and everything, the template is set up now. So whenever you create a new notebook, it's going to show the notes that are filtered by the notebook. So now we can click back. And here's where it's kind of very cool in Notion. So if we go ahead and click open notebook one now, we basically see new notebook. So we can go ahead and click that. And now you can see only note 3 here, which belongs to notebook 1. So let's say that we have a note 4 inside of notebook 1, and this was in outline, and we just choose a date here. Then what happens is if we click out, you can now see that we have 2 notes relating to notebook 1. So now whenever you write inside of your notebook, it also shows up in the main view. So we're going to go ahead and click new notebook here as well. So now we have notebook 2. And then sometimes this loads a little bit slow. Oh, how wonderful that your toddler accidentally clicked the hand. Okay, so now it's loaded. So here we see our notes, and yeah, basically you can add a new note here. So let's say we add a new note, we add a tag and a date. So this is going to now show up in the main view again. So you can see notebook 2. And here we can also do the same. So we're going to click new notebook in here. And to avoid doing this manually each time, you can even set this up to be the default. So you can see new notebook. So we're going to go ahead and click here and set as default for all views in notebook. So now every time you open and create a new notebook, let's say by clicking plus new, you're going to see the template already loaded here. So let's say that this is notebook 4 and you have some new notes here. So if we click out, you can see already tagged here by notebook 4. So now this connection is working really well. So we're going to go ahead and delete this one. And now on this side, we can start working more with our notes. So now the notebook is set up. So now we focus on the notes. So let's go ahead and now we can show how to create a note template. So before we show you the one that you all voted on, we are going to just show simply how to add a sort of note template. So we're going to go ahead and click plus new template, just like we did with the notebooks. And let's say that this is a new note. And we can add an icon for this. So let's say it's sort of a paper here. And here you can see which notebook it's tagged with, the date. And if you don't want to add the date each time manually, you can simply put, for example, the date when it was duplicated to be today. And yeah, basically that's all you need. And we go back. So if we open up the note 3 and we delete what's in here, we can now click new note and it's going to automatically add the icon and any contents that you already added here. So just to test, if we press plus new, open new note, you can see that it already tags it with today's date. So now what we're going to do is, now that we have the note, very simple note template here, we're going to go ahead and add a button. So we're going to type /button and we're going to call this new note. So this is getting a little bit more advanced, but yeah, so we put new note here and we can choose an emoji or an icon. So let's say we want to put a plus and we can go ahead and click plus here. And when the button is clicked, you can add an action. In this case, the action is to open the page, or actually add a page to, and we're going to select the database. So again, it's really important to name the database as something that you can easily find. So we're going to add a page to the notes, build with me, and it's going to be the new note. So this way you can make sure that every time you press this button, it's opening the new note template. And then you can add another step, which is to open the page, the new page added. And we're going to open this up in center peak. So that's correct. And we can click done. So now what we can do is just simply to try clicking new note. So we're going to click plus new note. And it's basically loaded what we included with the new note. We click out and yeah, it's very useful, especially because now you don't have to keep clicking here down below or here. And it's just nice to have a button. So basically now we've set up the notebook. So we have all of our notes and all of our notebooks. So does anyone have any questions up until this point that we could answer now? So if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. And yes, Michael, that templates are so powerful in Notion. We totally agree. We use them all the time, especially in databases. It's just such a great tool that Notion lets us use. And Jonica, how wonderful. Yeah, that's basically the best way to learn what works and what doesn't, is by seeing other templates as well. So we highly recommend that. And we hope that by building together, this can also help you to also learn Notion. How to get the new note button at a place where I can instantly use it like a widget or similar. Yeah, so Michael, if you want to put the new note somewhere sort of like instantly usable, you can even just drag it all the way to the top of the page, if that's what you mean. So that, let's say that if you have so many things on the page and you don't know where everything is, you just want to add a new note. This is really easy to put all your buttons at the top of the page. And let's say that if you are using Notion on mobile, you can also create a widget on your mobile and basically open up the digital notebook, and you would have that button right at the top. Okay, great. So now let's actually go into the building of the note template. So let's see what everyone voted for. And if you haven't voted, now's your last chance to vote for a note template you'd like to see. Okay, great. Thank you all for voting both on Zoom and on YouTube today. So it seems like number two was the outline note. So let's go ahead and set up the outline note. And yeah, we can get that started. So basically, to create a specific note template, we now have this new note template. So you just basically have to follow exactly what we did with the new note. And now that we already have it, we can actually go ahead and just duplicate this one. So let's say that the new note one is one that's empty, and this one you want as your outline note. So now we have here outline note. And let's say that all your outline notes are always going to be tagged outline so that it's clear for you. Of course, this is something you can also edit if that's not always the case. And then we can start building inside of here. So when you want to build a sort of database template, it's sometimes easier also to see if you open it up into full page. So you can also do that here. And basically for the outline note, what you might want to do is just that you have your basic topics, subtopics, and then you have a summary. So if we go to this page, we're going to go ahead and also turn on the small text full width here. And basically the structure it's going to follow is like this. So we're going to have a topic one. So we're going to type slash, let's say heading 2, topic 1. So here you can write your topic. Then we're going to have a divider slash divider. And inside each topic, you're going to want to add subtopic. So let's say that we have 2 subtopics under each topic. So we're going to type slash number. So we want to create a numbered list. And we can do subtopic 1. And here you can do something like this. So you have your supporting details and examples. So here we're going to put supporting details and examples and be the same here. So you basically want to break down a bigger topic into smaller segments so that you can really see everything in a broader and also a smaller picture. So now if we're here, we're going to now have subtopic 2, and we can do tab and then supporting details and examples and supporting details and examples. So since we're already here inside of the note page, we just wanted to also show you a few tricks that you might want to use when you're actually in the process of taking notes. So for example, you can easily highlight your text in Notion by just double clicking here and then going to text color and then changing things like the background to yellow like this, or even underlining it. You can also add comments to yourself, which is also really nice so that you remember things that you need to note down. And the other thing that you can do in Notion is that you can also add, let's say, embeds. So if you wanted to embed your supporting details and examples, that's also completely possible. You can put anything from Google Docs, YouTube videos, and so on. So make sure to use all of those features when you're using Notion for note taking. So if you're ever wondering what you can do with Notion, basically by typing / you can see everything here. And by sort of double clicking and highlighting, you can see all the text options available for you. So yeah, that's just a side note for note taking. But now we have topic 1, subtopic 2. So what we're going to do is add a call out box underneath where you can basically summarize everything. So if we go here and / call out, we can now put something like a lines here and let's say summary. And inside here, you could write your summary here. And if you type Shift Enter, you can add more space into the box. And then you can undo the bold, maybe change this to gray just so that it looks a little nicer. So now you have topic 1 like this with the summary. So now what we would recommend is just to click somewhere here. Oh, not here. Click here and drag. So you highlight everything and then Command or Control C to copy. And then you can paste. So now we have topic 1 and we have topic 2. So now we have here topic 1 and topic 2. Of course, you can just copy more. So it depends how many you need, whenever you're using an outline note. But basically, since we have 2 already, we'll just stop here. And now we can just go back. So now we have our database template here and we go back. So now what's really neat is that you can click here in the blue button and now you see your outline note. And let's say that we just click this one like this. It's going to create a new outline note and it's going to show everything inside here. Like this. So yeah, this is really useful. And let's say that you want one, which is an empty note for the button. So if we go here and new empty note. So this is opening the new note here. But let's say that we want to duplicate this button and we can call this one new outline note like this. And you can change what template it's going to use. So we can change it to outline note. Done. So now we can either click to open a new empty note or we can click here to show a new outline note. So as you can see, this is really customizable. So if you have a very specific meeting note structure, anything like that, you could really just put all of these into different database templates. And yeah, it should be very quick and convenient to use. So yeah, we hope this was helpful. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions here. So basically, this is the digital notebook. We hope that this gives you sort of a base on building on with it. And of course, depending on your needs, you can add more properties here. You can add more things to each notebook. So sort of the potential is kind of endless in a sense. And that's really why we like Notion so much for note taking, because it really provides the user with basically the optimal experience that you're looking for. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions about the template that we just built. Again, this will be recorded, so feel free to follow along more slowly. And you can pause the video and things like that. So now we just wanted to briefly show you, if you want more features, our sort of note-taking bundle Notion template. We have 2 versions at the moment, a non-AI and AI version. And we currently have a discount going on our store for 40% off with code June40. So just to give you a sort of brief tour and overview of this AI version template so that you can see kind of the potential with what you can do with sort of a simple note-taking structure. And if you wanted to build upon that, yeah, you can do many things. So this is our note-taking bundle AI preview version. And basically what we've done here is that you can browse by topic and you can click open a topic and basically add your notes inside here. So it's a little bit similar structure to what we built in the very, very basic version, but it just has more properties and features. And this is what's really interesting is that in the AI feature, you can basically summarize your notes directly into the property. So let's say that here we have a short summary here. So each note is going to generate automatically a summary so that you can just easily see from the outside what the note was about. And yeah, we really recommend AI for that reason. So this is something that you can't do with ChatGPT is basically that it's built into your database structure. So here we can also see sort of need to review notes. So if we open this up, you can now see that we've added a short summary AI, action plan AI, and 5 review questions. So whenever you take a note inside of here, it's going to sort of use AI in order to showcase what the summary was, what kind of action plans you could take based on it. And it's really easy to study from it because you just get your 5 review questions. So this can be used also in 2 ways. So if it's not your own notes and you just paste in some kind of article, you can also see review questions about that. So it really eliminates the need to sort of really like write out your summaries, action plans, or review questions, or if you easily forget about them, this is really nice because you can just quickly see it. And yeah, this one also includes a huge number of note templates. So here we have all of these. So beyond the 10 that we voted on today, we also have 2 different kind of meeting notes. And yeah, you can just open them up. And you can also use this outside of the template as well. So that's really helpful too. And yeah, please note that you do need to have a Notion AI paid plan to actually use AI to its fullest potential inside of templates as well. So just keep that in mind. But I think there is also a sort of free sort of credits you can use just to try it out. So if you're going to try it out, we highly recommend trying it out by adding the AI database properties. So just to quickly show you, if we're here in the notes and we go to the plus sign here, you can see that you can add an AI summary already here and even AI translation and things like that. So be sure to play around with these if you have any of the free credits. So now let's go ahead and get to the Q&A. And feel free to also keep typing into the chat if you have any questions of anything we went over today, anything about Notion that you're wondering about. So here we have a question here. How many notebooks should I have? If too many, I'm afraid that it will be difficult to categorize the notes. Yeah, it really depends on how you like to think about things and structure your notes. So you can have too many notebooks, but usually it's better if you have the minimal number of notebooks. But the other really interesting thing about Notion is that you can add 2 notebooks to a note, for example. So the notebooks don't necessarily have to only include 1 note. You can have 2 different kinds of notebooks and think of them more like topics and tag them by different notebooks so that you can really categorize your notes. So it really depends on your note-taking style. Is Notion AI worth it? So yeah, that's a really good question. And yeah, it kind of depends how you plan to use it. So as we showed you, if you really want to make use of the sort of database property that can summarize your contents, we think that that is the best way to use Notion AI right now. So if you're already using ChatGPT to do sort of things like writing tasks and so on, and it's working for you, then you might not need Notion AI. But the strength really lies in the database properties. So let's say that you wanted to translate something, you can also do that inside of your database, which is very cool. So you could have one column in English, and then you can translate all of those columns into Spanish using AI. So yeah, that's what makes it really unique in a sense, separate from something like ChatGPT. Any other questions does anyone have? Okay, great. So yeah, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us by email as well. We love to answer any kind of questions you might have. And yeah, make sure to check out our free resources. So we'll be going into that next. So yeah, we have so many freebies over on our website to get started with Notion. And make sure to grab those here. We'll be leaving the link in the chat. And thank you, Hayden. Yeah, we're so glad to have you here today. And yes, be sure to also check out our YouTube video about Notion AI versus ChatGPT. And there has also been some changes recently with Notion's AI, which we're going to be covering in a video pretty soon. So keep your eye out on our YouTube channel as well. So yeah, be sure to check out our freebies. We basically have, I think, 5 or 6 free templates here. So yeah, be sure to grab those. We also offer one-to-one coaching sessions, and each of the coaching sessions includes a short free consultation before the coaching session. So yeah, feel free to come and chat with us there. And if you have any questions or comments after this event is over, feel free to contact us at organizednotebook.info@gmail.com. The video is going to be recorded, so feel free to rewatch it, and we'll be updating it with timestamps soon so that it's easy to navigate. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, everyone, and we hope to see you all at a future event. And feel free to let us know if you have any sort of Notion topics you want us to cover in the future. So yeah, we hope you all have a great day today.